The first step in soldering is locating your safety glasses and your gloves. Located next to your soldering iron is a sponge. Ask permission to take the sponge over to the sink and get the sponge wet. Now remember, the tip of your soldering iron is very hot. Do not touch this area of your soldering iron. First thing you're going to do is take the soldering iron and place the soldering iron on the connection. Wait a couple seconds before you feed the solder into the soldering iron. You're going to melt a little tiny ball of solder onto the connection. The solder should look like a little tiny Hershey's Kiss. It should not look like a giant ball of solder. One of the biggest mistakes that kids make is they apply too much solder to the connection. And you'll see right there that I've applied too much solder to that connection. And I have one giant solder bubble. This causes a short circuit, and your reaction tester will not work with a short circuit. So what I need to do in order to fix that is I need to take my soldering iron and I need to swipe it between the two solder bubbles until there's two separate bubbles of solder. Use the wet sponge to wipe off the excess solder from your soldering iron. You're going to take the diagonal wire cutters and you're going to clip the wires off, and you're going to clip them short right next to your solder bubble. You might have to straighten your wires a little bit in order to get your diagonal cutters close enough to the solder bubble to clip them off. Your board should look like this when you're done.